Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Indrani, and I represent a company called Allcargo Logistics. And before I get into my topic, which rightly Burjit said that diverse practices in logistics, and I would definitely be talking about what we are doing in our organization, I would just like to thank Ritesh. I don't know where I lost him in the crowd. Ritesh, you just set the tone for my speech, where you said that if you are not aligned, you should not be doing anything. And that's what I was about to say. I don't know, it's a telepathy. We can talk during the coffee time. But what I was about to share is we can talk about 1,000 parameters of diversity. And every time when we talk about diversity, it is the gender which generally comes up. But for me, it is like a whole lot of bouquet of diversity. It talks about race, nationality, sexual orientation, various preferences, gender, of course, so on and so forth. I can go on and on and on. But if you are not aligned, if your heart, body, mind is not aligned to accept, and there comes the big word of acceptance, I think we should not, as an organization, introduce something like that, because it will do more harm than any benefit. It should not be done just to show something in the balance sheet. It should not be done just to show that, yeah, it's a cool thing to do, but we should do it only when our processes, policies, systems, and the organization is ready. Otherwise, what will happen is more dissatisfaction, every corner of microaggression, which ultimately will be extremely dangerous for the organization and eventually for the society. So with that, I would definitely like to say that the big element of acceptance also comes from the unconscious bias, which most of the time, knowingly or unknowingly, we get into it. The biasness of whether this person will be able to do this, whether logistics, because I am representing a logistics today, whether the logistics as an organization is preferred for a certain segment of the population. Even a few months back when we went to the campuses, we were told that the B school students are not very much interested for logistics because, again, logistics is not considered as a cool sector to be in, or the careers of logistics are not that fancy as much as somebody would have in a consulting or maybe in an IT digital segment. But you know what? This year we have hired around 15, 16 people from leading B school, and one of them is sitting in this crowd, and we have been tagged as the dream company to work for. Same logistics, which was actually told that you will not get the day 0 or day 1 because you don't give cool careers. So I think when we talk about the diverse nature, I think it is more about the unconscious bias that is actually something that needs to be addressed, and needs to be addressed in a very, very conscious manner so that the unconscious bias doesn't actually hamper what we want to do. Coming to the best practices that we have, I can go on and on and on, because by now you must have understood I'm extremely passionate about this subject, but I would like to choose 3 best practices that we have implemented. One is, a couple of years back, we have all seen what was happening in Europe, and I'm sure everybody would remember that little kid who was lying on the shore, and I'm talking about the refugee problem. So few months back, as a team, we were thinking of what we can do for the refugees. As an organization, Allcargo has presence in 180 countries and in 300 offices, and hiring people from the locals. So you can understand from a nationality point of view, from the gender point of view, from everything, like everything the world sees, we have an adequate representation of the same in our organization. Our chairman says that sun never sets on Allcargo, and very rightly so, because we are present in almost every portions of the globe. So definitely the refugee, whatever was happening in Europe impacted us. And that little kid with the blue and red dress, I still remember that kid actually had hit us. And as an organization, we felt what is the best that we can do. A few months back, we launched a program which will focus on the refugee rehab for Europe. And I give a disclaimer, this is still work in progress, but to actually launch that program, we really had to work on the so-called unconscious bias. Will they have the right skill set? Will they have the right attitude? Will they have the right education? Can they succeed in a corporate world? Can they actually represent our organization? We are True Blue Global organization. And then when we actually put everything on the drawing board, we felt it is nothing but biasness. And we had to put everything aside and think that, okay, let us treat them as normal human beings. Okay, will they have work permit? Yes. So one tick in the recruitment list. Will they have the right attitude? Let's interview them. Why can't we interview them? So we started interviewing them. And boy, we found they are perfect. Can we hire them? Are they employable? Absolutely yes. So what is it that is lacking? They do not have the right skill set in terms of the knowledge of the logistics, and also they don't have the IT knowledge. Trainable? Absolutely. So here goes our training program. We are trying to roll out a training program for them. We have identified them. We have seen that they have got good background. We have done proper reference checks. An NGO is working with us. He is based out of London. And this is a program, I would say that not only in the logistics segment, if we are successful in rolling this out, definitely it is a huge amount of giving back to the society, but every industry can actually replicate this. So this goes my first best practice, as you said that discuss about your best practice. So this is my first best practice that we are rolling out. The second one happened again this year. Around March, when we were talking about the International Women's Day, I remember one day my team came and said, hey, we are not doing anything for the woman this time. So I looked at them and I said, so what's the plan? So somebody said, we need to give roses, we need to give chocolates, we need to call somebody and have a talk on the health, finances, so on and so forth. I said, perfectly, what is it that you are doing on a more sustainable manner? We heard our panels talking about the sustainability. What are we doing on the sustainability? And then we brainstormed and we launched a program called Restart. Now, you might be thinking that what's so special about it? Restart, the name says that you are allowed to start your life or your career again for people who have taken break. This year, we have launched the Restart program for all the women in the industry, and not only for Allcargo, anybody in the industry who have taken break for right reasons and have been out of the work for their own priorities. It could be maternity, it could be for higher education, it could be catering to their parents, so on and so forth. We don't want to get into the details, but at the end of the day, you have taken a break in your career, and you do have every right to come back to your career, and here is a second chance. Now, what's so special about our program? We are telling that we are easing you back to work, and hence, we do not expect you to perform at the 100% level, and the organization has been sensitized to ensure that when these people are coming back to work, the expectation from the manager should be aligned accordingly. Number one. Number two, if you are performing during the interview, which is at par with any other candidate, you will be given a chance, because we will not penalize you that you have not worked for last 6 years, 7 years, and hence you are out of work. So you know what? You should go back to your old designation, and we will adjust your compensation as and when you grow in the organization. No. You are being treated fairly with your experience, your performance during the interview, and your compensation, what you should deserve if you were on the job for last 3-4 years. Or 5 years, or whatever years you have taken break. So that's the speciality of our program, that we are trying to beat the bias that the person is out of the work and hence is not so-called truly employable. So that program talks about the Restart this year. And when I was actually sharing this with some of our media people, they said, again, you are being little biased because you are doing it only for women. You are not doing it for men. I agree, yes, but somewhere you have to start. And when we started Restart, it was for women. So Restart 1.0 was for women. Restart 2.0 definitely will be for the bigger population of the talent pool. And the third and the last practice that I'm extremely proud of is, again, on the recruitment. We are an equal opportunity employer. So when I say we are an equal opportunity employer, we do not have a quota system to say that, okay, these are the roles which will be filled by a woman, or these are the roles which will be filled by a man. It is like, we don't want to see your gender. We don't want to see anything that will differentiate, demarcate you, or may put you at a backstage. If you are credible enough to get the job, if you have the right skill set, irrespective of your background, your nationality, again, I said all of those, you will get the opportunity to work with us. Having said that, we also provide that platform, that we have a safe working environment. And then I go back to the first word, which is like alignment, to ensure that all other factors that will make a person's life little more safer has been ensured in the organization. We have implemented all-women shift in our express division, Gati. I'm sure all of you know Gati is our express division. We have all-women shift who are actually staffing the warehouses. Now, I was about to utter the word manning. Now, this word manning has been banned from the organization. We do not use the word manning, which is so commonly used. Man, again, talks about the gender. So we use the word staffing. I have Sumita, who is sitting here. She is heading a facility where she is the only leader. Sumita, if you can just raise your hand. She's the only woman leader, and everyone in the male. And I don't think she feels any way threatened or uncomfortable. I have visited her facility, and she is as comfortable as anybody else in the organization. We have country managers, business leaders across the globe who are leading the business from front, and they are equally comfortable. So these are, I would say, I was told to mention 3, so I would stick to that. But these are the things that are there that we are doing as an organization.